And based on the differentiation between artist and designer, you have chosen a path to become a designer. How you want to express that to the people so they can also take the right decision?
Do you really need to be an artist to become a designer? The answer is no.
What do you see when you hire a designer for yourself?
I think one who celebrates life, one who celebrates design as a true designer.
Why people connect themselves with a designation and they get the path? Why they do not do the reverse of?
I had several titles, and most of the titles didn't last more than 2-3 years.
What do you say on that?
Yeah.
Work from home.
It doesn't work, man. Meaning that work from home is the deadliest virus.
So let me ask one thing, which is my favorite one.
So I've become a villain.
Hi guys, welcome to Design Ki Baatein. I am Pramod Sinha, co-founder of Sandskriti Design Studio, and I'm also leading a community, Sandskriti. The whole purpose of Sandskriti is to bring design culture in India. We really like to see people in design space they can grow much more faster, and for that we are actually inviting lot many people like artists, designers, entrepreneurs, and influencers together so that people can learn from each other and they can grow in design space. We really like you to be part of Sanskriti. It's good that if you can be our tribe member, and for that you can definitely subscribe our channels. And there are lot many other options that you can also be part as a volunteer to our service to the society, specifically empowering the design space. Please be there, see what we are doing, and let's be a part of it. Thank you. So thank you Anil Reddy to come to our show Design Ki Baatein. Design Ki Baatein, why we have given this name to this particular podcast is basically the podcast name. So Design Ki Baatein, I find one problem statement here in India that a lot of people don't understand English very well. So हमने सोचा कि क्यों नहीं इंग्लिश और हिंदी को मिक्स करके पॉडकास्ट बनाए so that that knowledge will go to many more number of people. So welcome to Design Ki Baatein.
Thank you so much, Pramod. It's wonderful always talking to you. So nice to see how you are growing the design scene in Ahmedabad. And your last event, I believe it's a super hit. Congratulations. And thanks for all the gift you keep sending me. And you send it all the way to Dubai. So nice of you and your team. The last gift was so nice. It was packed with a lot of goodies, sweets, and a lot of things. And thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a love from us. Yeah, it's a love from us.
Thank you so much. And I think podcasts like this is very, very important. And I'm always happy to share my thoughts with people. And today it's going to be a mix of Hindi and English, which is going to be fun. My Hindi, you all know that I'm from South India, so I will try my best to speak in Hindi. But if I make any mistakes, it's going to be fun.
As far as people understand the crux of the broadcast or the meaning of the podcast is all fine. So language doesn't matter.
Even if not, it's going to be fun. They will laugh at it and at least something to laugh about.
I'm not the person I can tell you more about you. So I think you are the only person who can express yourself. So why not we start with that?
Okay, my introduction, like I always say, from a longer 5 minutes of introduction, I've shortened it to few seconds. So I'm an artist by heart, I'm a designer by soul, and an entrepreneur by choice. Started my journey as an artist, then over the time I realized that just being an artist, I cannot build a great career. So I moved into design from simple graphic design, handmade graphic design to computer graphics. Then moved to web, then digital, then the whole world of opportunities opened up, which took me to different part of the world. And then came back to India and started my own, and that's when my entrepreneurship journey started. And today I'm still a designer, no matter what titles I have and what title I carry. Today I'm still a designer.
So anyways, designer is an attitude, it's not the designation. So if you have an attitude, you carry always with you. That's very great, sir. So, you have indicated very important point in this introduction. I just wanted to take it forward. So, if you are okay with that. So, you indicated that artist and designer, right? So, a lot of people in the industry, they actually get confused with this term. So, and based on the differentiation between artist and designer, you have chosen a path to become a designer. So, what is how you want to express that to the people so they can also take the right decision if they are into such situations? So, how you can express that?
So today the conversation that the people are having is, do you really need to be an artist to become a designer? The answer is no, because design is not all about the art. For me, design is about strategy, psychology, technology, and then art. So without a plan and without a purpose and without understanding the canvas, you cannot straight away jump into the art side of the design. But there is always an added advantage if you're an artist. So you being an artist, you'll end up creating something, or you always build that wow factor in everything that you design. So anyone who's an artist who wants to become a designer, they are, I won't say they are the only ones, but they always come up with something new, something that we haven't seen. So those are the advantages of being an artist. A good example is today illustrations play a very big role in product design, be it an explainer video or micro interactions and all that. And being a designer who has an artistic skills, you can visualize it, not just visualize it, you can also illustrate it and also animate it. So these are the added advantages of being an artist. So, but again, today engineers are turning designers, architects are turning designers. There's a lot of people from different domains that are coming into design. And also they have proven that you don't have to be an artist to become a designer. You just need to think and ink it properly and understand the canvas and understand the pulse of the audience and make it user centric and make sure that business grows with all the solution. So there is years back, if you ask me, I would say that you have to be an artist to become a designer. But today it's been proven wrong. And you don't have to be an artist. If you are an artist, there's an added advantage.
So I think it's very, very clear for many people, like how to decide to become a designer compared to all other options they have. Right? That's very nice. So, from an entrepreneur perspective, I'm just trying to understand one thing from you. Like a lot of people think that a designer can't be a good entrepreneur. Like why they think like that? Most of the people think I'm बहुत creative लोग हैं. Or हमको धंधा करना नहीं आता, we cannot express ourselves to the outside audience. The designer himself, they cut off themselves from the real space and they think they are different, and why they position themselves as a difference. If you are different, people can see it. You don't need to express that. So how you can put values to it? Like what is your opinion in this?
When I turned 30, I realized that there is something more than just working in a company. So I think I hit my career peak. I was in a very good position in a global design agency, and I felt like, is this all? Is there anything more than this? Can I risk and do something in my life? And that's what got me back to India. And 2010 and 11 was not the right time to come back to India and start an agency, because back then nobody understood. Just one second.
Oh, we can cut it down, no problem. Yeah, we have a space. We'll give a little space here.
So to 2011, when I came back from New Zealand, I was ready to take that risk. And I knew that I wanted to start something, but I was not clear on what to start. So basically, it took me 30 years to decide that I want to start something. But until then, even I was very similar to any other designer who's listening to this podcast. I didn't want to start anything on my own, and I didn't want to take a risk. I always wanted a good job, which gives me good freedom to design stuff, win awards, and get salary on time. So I think everyone will get this one moment where they want to start their own. I think that's the point you need to stop and ask yourself, are you ready for it? Do you have enough experience to do it? Or are you ready to take risk? And do you have the patience to hold on to it and stay there and build stuff? I think when you answer all this stuff, you can get started. It's not like People say that entrepreneurs are like very lucky or God gifted talent. There's nothing like that. I think we are just another 9 to 5 people who just came out of that 9 to 5 thing and started something on our own. So every designer is itching to start. I'm sure now every designer that I meet across India, right? They have so many ideas and they want to build a product. Somebody wants to start freelance and somebody wants to do contract work, and others get inspired by studios like us and they want to start their own design studio. They have that in their mind. It's just a matter of taking the risk.
Correct. So the people having space to take some risk, they can find, you can say, the opportunity which is outside them grow more, I guess.
It just brings you out of your comfort and puts you in some kind of a challenge. And once you pass the challenge is where you see the opportunity. So the challenge includes failure and no money and no name, no fame, no respect. So you cross all these things and finally you come to a spot where you become immune to all these things, and then you see opportunity beyond that. So you have to be extremely shameless when you're doing sales. You cannot think about yourself. You have to leave all that back home and then get onto the field, do sales, and keep convincing the client until he signs the contract. So those are the things that you learn when you become an entrepreneur.
That is very true. Very true. Yeah, so becoming an entrepreneur, definitely they need to have a business sense and business skills. And if they don't have it, they have to develop it somehow by taking their comfort zone out, and then they get into that particular space. Very correct, sir. So you have indicated very good point. Get out from the comfort zone. It's like a statement like everyone understand कि मुझे तो comfort zone से बाहर जाना होगा तो मैं शायद कुछ कर पाऊंगा. लेकिन a lot of people, when I take interview like every day, almost 3 or 4 interview I take. उसमें one of the major thing like they are asking that I ask and they answer like almost common like बिजनेस करने में ना क्या है कि बहुत टाइम देना पड़ता है, बहुत एनर्जी देनी पड़ती है, पर्सनल लाइफ खराब हो जाती है, and things like that. Like they are not going into that because they don't want to come out of the comfort zone. I can say like that. It may be the other reasons. So how you get out from this, and what kind of thing that you want to suggest such kind of people who really want to do something great but they are not trying for it?
I think a lot of people think that let's take a small step. Let's start with freelance and we'll learn how the market is, and then slowly we'll start building our own design studio. Maybe there are people who have proven that, but in my case, I believe in jumping and swimming instead of standing there and thinking how deep the water is, or should I swim, should I not swim. I'm not that kind of a person. I've always been somebody who will just jump and then realize whether I'm going to sink or whether I'm going to float or will I learn how to swim. I think that is an experience, right? For people out there who want to start it, you always start with a fear and you always start with a good feeling. So you have a mixed emotions running, and most of them will tell you not to start because life is so good when you're working in a company. At the most, you will lose the job and go jobless for a few months, but eventually you'll find a job. But when you start your own, when you lose a client, there is no payment. When there is no payment, you can't pay your employees, and then you're close to shutting it down, which is emotionally will drain you out. So these kind of emotions hit you hard. So people have to learn to jump and eventually learn how to swim, survive, and get to where they want to get. If you are planning to just stand there and plan, and every time you plan right, the outcome of the plan will have a lot of negative things and very little positive things. Because you open the media will say how many startups shut down, and the media will say that how economy is slowing down. So you always lean towards such news and a lot of negative information, or some friend will say, why do you want to start? You know what happened, my friend started, he had to shut down. And there are few news which will say that some startup raised funds, some startup got acquired, and there is mixed news out there, but people always lean towards the negative news. So I recommend that if you are very, very strong and if you have that network, if you have that experience, and if you are hands-on with design and if you know that how to deliver a good quality stuff, then you should definitely join. you should definitely start your own.
Yeah, very true. So, taking a jump is the major decision that they have to take, whether they have to go right or they have to go left. And both the things are good. We cannot say that left is good or right is good. So it's all up to the people, like how they really want to shape themselves. Very nice information, sir. I think a lot of people are going to get much thing from this podcast.
I hope so.
Yeah. So, I don't know whether it's true or false. So, I think initially when you were very small, so you started doing decoration in homes, and getting like somewhere around 250 to 350 rupees for each decoration you do. And so from, I think you have some kind of entrepreneurship skills from that time itself, because, doing that is not something common that we find in a people. So I think, that how you think that 350 rupees earning is important for you to becoming an entrepreneur, or somewhere in between, help you in that particular direction of making a career?
Yeah. All those things that I did as when I was young, right? I didn't do it out of passion, but I did it because of the pressure. Ghar mein paisa nahi tha, and my mom clearly told me that you should earn your own college fees, and that put me in a situation where I had to go find a job. And for a 16 years old, nobody will give a job. Every job out there is an odd job. So I started as a cleaner. I used to clean a building, and then eventually I learned how to do some small artworks that got me some money, and which opened the doors to do bigger things like decorating birthday functions, rich kids birthdays and all that, stage decorations. From there I got into hotel backgrounds, like in a large star hotels when they have seaside food festival, or when they have Christmas decorations. I used to do all those things. That got me more money than doing small things. Then I had yearly contracts where any function in a Gateway or Taj West End, and that's one of the biggest hotels in Bangalore, any events that happens in those hotels, right? I used to get those contracts, which gave me enough money to pay my fees. Then while doing that, I realized that if I do it well, people appreciate. And when people appreciate, there is a good feeling. It's a much bigger feeling than receiving the check after finishing the work. So that eventually I realized that okay, एक बार एक project मिल गया तो उसमें तो पैसा है, वो पैसा में मैं फीस भरने वाला हूँ. And but if I do well,
No, sorry, like I have the curiosity, like what was your first check amount?
in those kind of work, right, cash is given for buying materials. So I was a kid. I was 16 years old. Cycle में जा रहा था मैं. I used to go and ask. I didn't even know how to make an invoice. So I literally negotiation was used to happen like कितना होगा इसको करने के लिए. So I used to take a paper and put what is the material cost. उसके ऊपर मेरा थोड़ा charges. उतना ही. It's like a as ugly as a doctor prescription. Give it to them, and then they'll say that use cheaper material or do this, do that, and make it this amount. And उसके बाद थोड़ा पैसा like 500 rupees they'll give you to buy materials. And then that 500 rupees I have to give Hisab, like what all I bought and how much did it cost. Then I have to show the materials to them. Then I have to go bring carpenters, POP artists. So yeah, you're right. As a kid, I kind of operate on my own, but I used to bring people to help me out. Like huge cutouts, when you do it right, you need a certain talented people to do it. Back then there was this banner artist, like what you see today, digital prints, right? Bada digital print. Back in those days, there used to be a specialist who would do all these things. They knew how to do a big cutout and what kind of support you are supposed to give in the back. So I used to bring those people, learn from them, and I used to pay them in advance, then collect the money and recover those. Yeah, you were right.
Yeah, huge job for a 16-year-old kid. I can say that.
But I was dealing with kind of a labor people. So for them, you have to pay daily wages. It's not like project ke baad de dunga. It's like if they work today, I have to pay by evening. So I used to always borrow money from friends, family, my mother, that I have a project, give me some money, I'll get paid and I'll pay you back. So that borrowing, repaying I already started when I was 16 years old. The highest money that I borrowed back then was 700 rupees, which was so big. My college fees, the entire year fees was 1400 rupees. Somebody trusted and gave me 700 rupees, and it was a big money back then.
And how much you make from that project?
Kabhi you make 2000, sometimes you don't make anything, you go under a loss.
So you're doing business that time, I can say that.
Yeah, there's a material called POP, that plaster of Paris. Sometimes if it doesn't dry, in Bangalore there's a fluctuating weather, right? Sometimes it's too hot and too cold. When it's too cold, it doesn't dry, and the heaters are very expensive to dry it. So when it doesn't dry, it just falls off, and they don't pay money for it. So you lose money. And sometimes when it dries, pakad leta hai, then you can sculpt and do things. So yeah, all made profits always, but there are projects like one of the good profitable project was Salman Khan and Karishma Kapoor when they had come to Bangalore to do a show. The entire background stage, I got the contract from an event management company, and did a great job there, where Salman Khan had to kick the door and come out to the audience and remove his shirt, show his six packs, and everybody crowd was going. Ooh. So pura stage, work with the light guys, and pura mein, I had taken the contract and I did that.
So you have done the production job.
Yeah, it was a nice feeling. They gave me a walkie-talkie that made me feel so special. So I was walking around the event, talking to people and making sure everything is set. And back then, Salman Khan was very grumpy and he wanted everything in a certain manner.
Correct. I think that's a great journey for you have seen so far. Like working with such kind of project is like more driven by your own creativity, your own process, rather than following any specific process which is given in any books.
I think one thing that really worked for me is take the risk and see what's there. If I fail, then I take it as a learning, and as a human, I go through all the emotions when you fail. That sort of self confidence उड़ जाता है, and then you start doubting yourself. Then you go through all that emotions. It's very, very important. Even people, when design gets rejected, right, people feel very bad, and it's important to feel that. And then it's even more important to bounce back next day, not sit on it and cry it forever.
Right. So a lot of people get demotivated when they get some feedback which is not good for them. But I think they have to take it as a learning and they have to apply something more so that at least they get out from that zone. That is very, very, very true thing which has happened to everyone, I think, in every organization, I guess.
The amount of designs, my designs, which got rejected is like more than, I think almost 100 times more than the designs that got selected.
A lot of people talk about design, but very less people talk about designer. So how you can say that कि एक designer का एक अच्छा attitude क्या होना चाहिए? What do you see when you hire a designer for yourself? Let's say like that.
I think one who celebrates life, one who celebrates design is a true designer. If you think design as an occupation, then you are just a labor in a company, like any other, like a coffee or even cleaning staff or even admin. You're just the person, because design is so divine. And this is from my experience. Maybe people will say it's wrong, but from my 23 years of experience working and another few years of studying, right, for me, design is so divine to me. I see God when I do good design and when people appreciate it. So for me, I've gone to that depth of it. And I always loved and respected design. And be it ups and downs, I've lost job, I was laid off, and when I used to do projects, clients didn't pay me. All these things happened with me. Thousands of designs got rejected, didn't get my promotions. I worked really hard in a company which didn't recognize me. All these things happened in my life. But I was very true to that artist and a designer inside. So this is what makes a real designer. And a real designer is someone who's extremely passionate about what you do. Okay, extremely passionate. When I say passionate, ki matlab, it's like what music is for musicians. Okay, for them it is not a 9 to 5 job. They don't play guitar 9 o'clock in the morning and pack the guitar 5 o'clock in the evening. They play when they are sad. They play when they are happy. When they play guitar when they travel. They play guitar whenever they want to cheer audience up. So for them, they live, breathe, and eat music. So design for a designer should be like that. Design is not something I need a break and I need to go to Goa. Then you take a break from something that you don't really like or you're really tired of. Design is something that you cannot disconnect yourself. Even you go to Goa or whichever part of the world, you have to stay connected to it. Take your book, take your iPad, do something, doodle, scribble. There are plenty of ideas because every travel will teach you something. And that learning is connected to you becoming a great designer.
I think you are very, very correct, and I believe in the same system. So when I talk to people in my even in the Sandcup Design Studio, is like like you said, design is when you do design is looks like a divine. When I say people like designer is not an attitude, like it should be in your soul. Wherever you go, it's there. It's not something you can detach from. So I think you are very much saying that everyone should carry design wherever they are. If you do not have such kind of passionation for the design, I think they can be a designer, but you can't become that great designer. I can say like that.
You have to dedicate yourself to design, and then it will take you places. You should not have restrictions, and you should just be as light as possible, and it will take you places. Like you cannot bind yourself with religious restrictions. You cannot bind yourself with the food restrictions because you will meet people from different caste, different religion, different country. For example, I'm in Middle East. I have to learn their language. I have to eat what they eat. If I have to design something for them, I cannot come with my Indian attitude and say that this is how I am. This is what my parents have taught me. Now this is what I'm going to be like. That doesn't fit me well in this country. The same Anil, when he goes to Vietnam, I have to be like a Vietnamese. I have to eat their food, I have to laugh, I have to watch their movies. I cannot go with restrictions saying that I don't do this, I don't like that. So that kind of disconnects me from the people. When you disconnect from the people, right, then you won't learn about the people. And design is all about user-centric solutions, right? So if you disconnect yourself from the users, then what kind of a designer are you, right? You are just two tool operator.
Right. So a lot of people right now think like if they understand Photoshop, if they understand Figma, they become designer. But I think the kind of attitude you're talking about is a completely different aspect altogether. I think for designer, having that understanding of that tool can make them even better designer. But the tool is not only the things that they have to learn, I think.
Yeah, for those kind of designers, what we call them as Mac operators. That used to be the term few years back. Basically, there are tool operators. So they know Figma very well. They know Photoshop. You give them anything, they'll do it, and by 6 o'clock they'll wind up and go home. So designer is like it's like a musician, right? And it's like an artist.
So there are a lot of people think if they have to become designer, they need certain prerequisite to become a designer. But right now in the market, this prerequisite is like misleading in many different forms. For example, someone is making course content, but it is not relevant for them, and people get confused with a lot of information which is already there on the internet. So how you can help people to guide them? Okay, this is the way to become a designer, or this can be your first step, or this can be your consecutive step. So can you give some idea on that perspective?
I think the design as a domain, right? It's grown so fast, and anything like that which grows really fast, the entire crowd will start moving towards it, and it's very, very common. And in the last 23 years of my experience as working as a designer, I've observed things. And then engineering happened. Then everybody wanted to become an engineer. There was a family pressure for every kid that you become an engineer, you'll get a job in Infosys, Wipro, Cognizant, wherever. Then every youngster became an engineer. And then now it's the designer. Now everyone wants to become a designer. So whether you've already finished a degree in a different domain or whether you have an education, no education, I've seen people writing to me saying that I couldn't pass my 10th. Now I am planning to become a designer. So we have reached that stage where people have sent out a message that anyone can become a designer. And these are the people who are selling education. So they are selling education, mass education, like a 3 month course or a 1 month course. These are the people sending out messages saying that anyone can become a designer. Just come, I will teach you, I'll show you some process, and overnight you'll become a designer. So what happens, right? This brings a lot of people into the design. In that, you get filtered out and you get very few good designers, and rest everyone will struggle in this industry. And this industry will get disrupted. It will get severely disrupted that even the good ones won't find a good opportunity here, because there'll be so much noise in the industry and the companies still don't know how to hire a good designer. Okay, I am a designer. It's easy for me to find out who's a good designer or a bad designer. Now imagine if you go to non-design companies, right? Most of the interviews are taken by HR or a product guy. They don't know how to hire a designer. So they end up hiring a bunch of wrong designers, and that changes the perspective, perception of designer. And there's such disruption is happening at the moment. And thus, if you look at it, right, there are designers who are writing to me about why there aren't any opportunities and why we thought if after doing a course I'm going to get a job easily, but that is not true. And somebody told me that as soon as you finish the course, your package will start from 10 lakhs. That is also not true. And people are time and again making such videos saying that, hey, my starting package is this. Hey, I finished 1 month course and I've become a designer. I think that's very wrong to promote. Design is never ending practice. Okay, until you die, you have to practice and you have to keep learning. Just one Figma or some design thinking process is not enough. It will only teach you the basic of it. That is not enough for you to get into the industry. You need to dedicate yourself. You need to learn. I always tell people to go to design schools, art school, to learn and become whatever you want to become, because it's 4 years course or a 5 years course of they will teach you every aspect of design in a design school. If you go to NID, NIFT, Shrishti, or any other design school, right, you are surrounded by creative people, and the 4 years of aggressive training that happens inside, right? I don't know whether it happens now. Back in my days, there was perspective, there was life study, there was still studies, and there was typography. There's so many things that happen, and all these things come handy when you get into the design domain, right? All these things come handy. So my advice to designers, if you're young, please find a good design school, design college, and don't take shortcuts. History has proven that none of the shortcuts work. Maybe it will work for some time, but in the long run, it is not going to work. If you have any kid in your family who wants to become a designer, please send them to good design school or design college. Don't tell them that 3 months course is enough. That is not how you become a designer. That is for someone who's already finished a degree somewhere, who doesn't want to waste another 4 years of studying in a college. They can go and do some crash course. But for someone very, very young who wants to get into design, should definitely go to art school or a design school. There's so much you will learn from there. And imagine you're surrounded by 60 similar minded people. You're a student and there are 60 people around you, and you're competing with them, you're learning from them every single day for the next 4 years. So this will turn you into an amazing designer. So I always on LinkedIn, when the parents ask me about my son wants to become a designer, which is the crash course I can join my son into. I always said, do not get into a crash course. Your son is young, put him in a design school. Design schools are wonderful. They're not stupid. People think it's just a waste of 4 years. We should never ever question education. And unfortunately, we are living in this time where everybody is questioning education. The day when we question education, right, we are gone.
Correct. Yeah. I think the questioning education
It's the same
is a
people
problem.
who wants to go to a doctor who's qualified, who's gone to a good college, who's got a good training, who has years of experience, but they want to get their heart operated from that kind of a person.
Correct.
Now imagine if the doctor said that I did a 2 months crash course and I have become a doctor. Now I will operate your heart. You will say that I definitely don't want to listen.
It's better not doing it. Correct. So, it's very, very important point you have already raised. So I have having a lot of thought going on in my mind, to be very honest. So let me ask you like that, for example, people want to be entrepreneur. People, there are a lot of, you can say designation is there for design. You can say researcher, user researcher, and then you say communication designer. In that also illustration designer, and in some cases, there are a lot of designation associated with the research. Some people associate themselves as a visual design and all. So there are a lot of designation. I think more than 40-50 designation will be there in that design space itself. So why people connect themselves with a designation and they get the path? Why they do not do the reverse of it? Like, what do you think? What is the reason behind it?
Title are very short-lived in this domain. If you look at as a designer, right, I had several titles, and most of the title didn't last more than 2-3 years. It will die because most of them will carry the same title, and you want to move on to the next title. Today, it's called product designer. So UI designer changes title to product. UX designer changes title to product. Just a few years back, it was web designer. All the web designers changed their title to UI UX. Even before that, it was called digital designer. They all changed to web. Before that, it was GUI designer, which is graphical user interface. There was a different title. So if you look at a title, right, take UX designer, UI designer, or strategic designer, whatever designer, right? What remains over there is designer. Rest everything keep changing. Okay, rest everything keep changing. So one should always stay true to becoming a designer. And the title will change. You can always learn those new things and just add it in your resume that today I'm this designer. I was also that designer. You can add all this stuff. But title is something that here at Lollypop, we never ever pay attention to the title. When people apply for a job and they say that all the fancy titles, right, it'll always come down to your portfolio, your work, and your attitude. And title exists on LinkedIn because that is where you can flash off all your title. But if once you come to Behance or Dribble, work matters. It's the work that really stands out.
That's perfect. So I have seen, if I connect back to the education, the point where it raised. So in education, what I see, there are a lot of institutions are now making a course, like let's say 4 years course for UI and UX design specifically, not the design course. It's basically one segment of design itself. Like, so what is going to happen with this? Because if the college itself is keeping the design knowledge and they are training people only for UI UX, then like a title, it also die in certain amount of time if it is like that. So how you want to convey a message to an educational institute, how they can design a proper course which actually help the market to get better designer right now? Because I have, our own studio, we face a lot of difficulty hiring people because there is an understanding gap itself. Capabilities are different, but the understanding gap itself are there. And the reason I see there are a lot of educational institutes are now opening and they are focusing more on getting business from design. There are a few colleges which are there, they teach actually design in a proper way. But I can say 80 to 85 educational institutes are focusing more on business. They are running behind UI, UX and things like that. So how you want to give a message to them so that they can align their courses in a certain way?
I think the education institution, they are under the pressure because suddenly all the small institutions are stealing their business, and every online course after COVID, right? People sitting at home, they're getting trained and getting certified. So there is a lot of pressure on universities, and they also have to act fast. They also have to tell that even we have a same course, please come to our university. And imagine university is a huge infrastructure. They have to pay the tutors, they have to run the show. There is a big building, and there's so much equipments inside. But learning online, there is nothing. It's just the knowledge recorded on a video, and it's been played to thousands of people, and they generate revenue. So for college, right, they have to adapt to this change, but they have to stay true to that training designers. Like in my days, right, the first 2 years was basic of design. When I say basic of design, they never let us do any commercial things. It was non-commercial things. So basically, they used to send us to market and ask to sketch the entire market. Okay, within that A4 size sheet. So that will train you on how to compose everything that you see in the given space in the given time, because people move in market, right? So back then we didn't have smartphone to take a picture, go home and sketch it. If you sit there, if you watch a market, you have to sketch that market on your paper within that few minutes. So that will train your brain on speed, on composing things, and also on observing things. So in my college, they kept that alive for 5 years. So they didn't take that off because I choose to become, I choose visual design as a next course. So in my college, 2 years was foundation and 3 years was specialization. Even while doing specialization, right, they used to send us to market. Even while doing that, they used to send us for screen printing, and they used to send us for live study, perspective, and all that, which was not related to visual design. So if college can continue doing this, then students will always be trained, like military program, right? Just because you finished your course, it doesn't mean that you should stop working out in the morning, right? Military will always make sure that you still wake up in the morning and run, because you have to be physically and mentally fit for the war to happen. So for designers, it is important. For university, it is important that whatever you start in the basic course, right, you keep that going until they finish the college. And you can reduce that burden and increase the specialization course.
I think that approach is nowhere there. I think few colleges are having such approaches. They want to teach everything in house. They don't. I have seen many design colleges which is having their own infrastructure, all the printers, all the kind of machine, and everything. But when you actually go out and do that job from the outside, people give an extra edge to that same education, I guess. So you know how to deal with the people, you know how to bargain, you have to face those situations that they don't face actually right now if they get all the facility inside the college, I guess. Maybe that can be one of the points.
Yeah, education is important here because after COVID, right, especially hearing that you don't need to go to college to become a designer is very sad. You should never, ever question education. The formal education, you should never question it. The day when we question it, right, God bless that domain.
Yeah, I think this is very, very nice information we are getting for the people. They 100% going to get.
Cool one. I think a lot of people are not going to like me for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. We are true. We are doing it truthfully, so it's all okay.
This year I started with a controversy. Very controversial post on LinkedIn saying that work from home is the deadliest virus.
Yeah, I agree on that. In Sandcop, we don't have anyone working from home. We say, work from home is not possible for us. You can do it from other studio, but not possible for us. We want people to know each other and do something together. Like I said, how we execute projects is a different thing altogether. So it does not suffice in our structure, basically. But what do you say on that work from home? Let's take that topic itself. Yeah.
Look, we currently, especially in India, we're dealing with a lot of young designers. And again, it comes back to, if you see where are these designers from, These are the people who have done crash course or learned design recently. It's important to bring everyone back to the studio and let them learn from each other. घर पे नहीं होता. Really, 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 at home, it's impossible. You're in very comfortable atmosphere that doesn't allow you to learn things. And I love the fact that you wake up, you get ready, you have a bath, you wear nice clothes, you walk out of the house, you take a bus or a rickshaw or you ride a motorbike, reach office. Whether it takes 1 hour to commute, 2 hours to commute, at least you plan your day right. You wake up early. If it is 2 hours to commute, you leave 2 hours early. And the question is not about wasting 2 hours. घर पे क्या करने वाला है? You're not going to sit and learn something, or you're not giving that to company, right? You'll either be on Reels or Netflix. You'll rather be on the road, and it's important to be there and learn every single day, because my skill of negotiating with clients has come from me doing all this stuff. So every day I wake up and come to office. Today I'm at office. Okay, that Dubai office doesn't have so many people. It's hardly 1 or 2, 3 people here, and I can always work from home. Why should I come to office every day driving 23 kilometers, right? I still come because I love sitting in the car, driving it, and on the way I meet someone, I see a new billboard, or kuch traffic jam hoga. I observe a lot of things, new cars on the road, something new. While coming there, I listen to radio station. There is something that happens every day. There is something to learn, and then I come to the studio. Then I say hello to people. We'll have chai together. So nice. Instead of me sitting in my shorts at home, waking up late, not even having bath.
Yeah. Correct. The same thing happened with me. I'll just tell you a little story about my journey. The similar on same line. So when I started Sandcup Design Studio, I was the only person. I took the office in rent. I started going to the office. I sit alone. I just wanted to make sure that if I come to the office, then everyone will join the office. If I get into my home, I have an option to do the same thing in my home because I was alone. But without having that office, probably I have not recruited more people, something like that. So I think it's very important to get out of the comfort zone, go outside, see people, see the experiences which is random to them. You do not have any control over the outside thing, but actually you randomly experiencing lot of things that actually helping building you a different personality probably. Yeah. That's very true. So Lollypop design is something focusing more on getting different kind of projects probably, So I just wanted to tell people, what kind of projects normally they are going to experience if they are going to work with any design studios like yours. So can you give some idea on that?
Yeah, in a design studio, it's like a design school only, design college. So we have different departments. We have visual department, we have research team come from neuroscience and psychology background, and we have sales, we have marketing team, we have all these people in the building. So that's the best part. You can learn from each other. So if you're in a marketing department, you become a good friend of UX designer. So you get to learn from each other. So the kind of projects that we bring is, we don't choose projects. Basically, we get a lot of leads through our website, LinkedIn and all that. We have become such a big brand today. Globally, we get a lot of leads. Every single day, there's leads coming in. And it goes through the sales team, and the sales team will pitch Lollypop to them. And there is anything interesting, super interesting, then we will go our way out to bring that project inside. Sometimes we'll cut the budget, we will squeeze the timelines, and we'll bring those things. Especially projects where we feel that founders love design and they respect design, then we'll go our way out to do stuff. And there are cash cow projects. That means रोज का खर्चा निकल जाता है उसमें. So those kind of projects. We have retainer projects. We have all kind of projects. So if somebody wants to design for a startup, we have. If somebody wants to work on a retainer, we have. But designers won't get to choose what project they want to work on. So it's always the design leaders or the team who decides who should work on what project. Because if you get them to choose, right, they will go to startup. Everybody wants to work on a startup project, and startup don't pay well. But still, we have a lot of startup projects at Lollipop. Startups are more fun. But the problem with startup is you have to work day and night because their product launch is very, very aggressive. And if you come to retainer project, it's the same old boring stuff. So people get bored over there. People get irritated here. So what we do, right? We mix, match. We have a combination of all this stuff, and plus we have internal pitch work. When we're pitching to a new client, we'll get designers to participate in it. So there's a lot of things happens inside a studio like us. And lately, nobody wants to be a part of design studio. Very few people. It's because a design studio is a bit of a pressure to work on. Every day you have been tested your design skills. Unlike a product company में एक बार product बना दिया, design systems बना दिया, तो all you have to do is reuse those components. So, and plus product company, any funded product company is very good to work. They play well, they have a flexibility to work from home. Design studio like us, we have nothing like that. We are a madhouse. So people run away most of the time. They come here and they hear stories of product companies and they prefer to be there. And the really, really true passionate designers stick around because they love challenges. And design studios not only has design challenges, it has people challenges, big time people challenges. And a lot of young kids don't survive this. And if you look at all the reviews on Glassdoor, right, you will come to know. After COVID, we have been having a very bad reviews on Glassdoor because I will take the blame for that. I've been forcing people to come to office.
So I've become a villain after COVID.
Okay. Yeah, but you have a good intent behind it. But yeah, you have a good intent, but the time was wrong.
It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
मेरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ता. End of the day, they have to design well. They have to become a great designer. Whether they write on Glassdoor, whichever door they want, even in my own house door also they can write, but still come to office and work.
Yeah. But that is very true. When you are true from inside, you always do true things, irrespective of what is the other outcome that you're getting. I think you're a kind of personality who really want to do something meaningful in your life, and that's the reason you are leading everything in a very nice manner, and people are appreciating you so deeply. That's the reason you are a design superhero right now. I really follow you. Everyone in our organization, they follow you because you have a different kind of attitude towards design. I can say that. That's perfect.
Now it's very difficult to be me because right after COVID, right, I used to be bad in one or two books, or after COVID in too many books.
Okay, so from the book,
I'm a very bad teacher. So thus I don't teach in Lollypop Academy. I just go as a guest lecturer over there because for me, if you're not disciplined, I will kick people out. That's the mother of all. And the second one is, if I am teaching, if I am taking time to teach someone, if I don't see the output, even if the output is bad, I don't care. If you do not try, if you do not attempt to try, right, that really pisses me off. Like a lot of people when I interview, they say, I'm very passionate, I want to learn under you. As soon as we work together on a project, they are like, Monday ko fever aa gaya, I need a break, I need to go there, I need this, I need that. Then finally I let them go. Because we are working on projects where brands for so many years didn't believe in design. And now they believe in design and they've invested, and it is in our hands and it is in our responsibility to deliver something great for them. For that, every designer working on the project should be aligned. Everyone should have an equal passion to deliver that. Else, what happens is that organization will stop believing in design.
correct.
For many years, organizations never believed design. They thought if you have to build a product, you should go to a tech company. Now it's changing. They're coming to a design company first. They want designers to draft the prototype and then go to a tech company. If the design studio doesn't look after them well, if they don't show that they love or they are passionate about the product, these companies will go to straight to tech companies.
I think before you can say design was a skill. Now design become an industry, and people don't understand that particular gap. If I say the design market of UI UX itself is a $600 million market, international globally. If you talk about design as a whole, I think it's in billions. And people don't take design so seriously now. If they don't take it now, I think they will lose this particular opportunity, or maybe this whole market will get crashed because of our wrong attitude. So both the things are possible, and I think people have to understand that design is an industry, and they have to understand where they have to fit well. But before that, they have to have basic fundamental knowledge of design. Don't compromise on that. So they have to go to the design school, good design school, and learn something, and then apply those things into the industry that actually elevate the design industry itself. So that's a good point. I think people have to understand that, specifically the people who are doing job. It's not a 9 to 7 job that they have to do it and then they go. So what is the reason? Like इतने सारे institute होने के बाद भी design studios अहमदाबाद क्यों नहीं आते? Like this is my personal question. I don't understand sometimes.
Ahmedabad, what I've heard last time when I came there is the design capital of India. That's what people told me. I don't know how true it is, but I believe it is the design capital of India. And you have UID, you have NID, you have so many wonderful colleges. I'm not sure why there are not many design studios, but Ahmedabad is the place. It's a great place to build a design studio. And the next center, if we ever plan to open in India, it will definitely be in Ahmedabad. You're doing a great job. I think you should start and you should create more design events. Eventually, design studios will come, and all the students in NID and UID will stay back in Ahmedabad.
We are trying that. Let's see how it goes. So we are trying to do a lot of work in that particular direction. So make the people aware that it does not matter where the location is. It matters which are the good companies that you want to be in. Like the company having the attitude like yours, who believe in giving more exposure rather than giving comfort zone. I think that if people start thinking in that way, the more different places will pop up. So I think it's a kind of cultural shift, I guess.
True.
Yeah. So, Milda, I have taken a lot of your time. Thank you so much. Honestly, I'm just saying, you're doing a lot good work to the people, and it's amazing job you're doing. And I follow you not just because of the company is big. I follow you because of your attitude, and the way you express yourself is like amazing thing that people will going to learn a lot from it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anil. Bye-bye. See you then.
Bye.
Take care. Thank you for watching our podcast Design की बातें. I hope आपको बहुत मज़ा आया होगा. अभी और मज़ा आने वाला है. और अब जो मज़ा आने वाला है, अब हम सुनेंगे एक इंडस्ट्री के ऐसे लीडर्स से जो 50 साल उन्होंने डिज़ाइन में डाला है और आज भी वो डिज़ाइन में है. And he is like 100% dedicated to design. And we all are going to learn a lot from him. Stay tuned and subscribe our channel, Sandskriti. Thank you so much.
Sand Club and Pramod, that he is trying to develop the people with the Sanskar. When ideas comes, then you will have to see the visual form. मैं एक ब्लॉग पे विश्वास नहीं करता.